Hey everybody, this is Korey H with NES Mafia. How you doing? This is our very first video, so we're gonna see how this goes. I know it's kind of weird because you can't see my face, but you don't really need to see my face right now anyways, but just in case you care, here we go. What's up, man? So I know there's a bunch of cleaning videos out there, how to clean NES carts, so it's like, who really cares? There's another one, but I like to think I do a really good job at this. I basically watched a bunch of different videos on cleaning, and then I kind of just took all of their best ideas and put it all together. And then I also go the extra step and I actually clean the cart. I'm not gonna do this today, but I mean, a lot of times you'll have stickers on here, price tags, whatever. Sometimes the price tag will be on the NES label, which sucks, but you're actually able to get all of those stickers off of your NES label if you do it correctly. You can use Goo Gone. You don't want to use a lot because you don't want to get soaked, but you can get it off by using Goo Gone. I've done it numerous times, and I've done it to where it doesn't mess up the label, so you're able to do that. But just over time, people put stuff on here. I've seen it, as I'm sure you guys have too, tons and tons and tons of different things. I've seen you open up these things and I've seen stuff growing in them. I've seen dirt inside. I don't know how dirt got inside of there. I mean, it's enclosed, so who knows, man. One cartridge I found, it looked like it was buried with all the E.T. Atari games in New Mexico, so I have no idea, but you'll see a lot of stuff once you start cleaning these things. But little history, which just to get it out there, I'm fairly new at doing this, so I'm fairly new at learning all of this, but Nintendo started out with 5 screws in the back of their carts, and then they went down to 3, and when they started with the 5, you could just use a small little flathead screwdriver to get them out. But then when they went down to 3, some of them still had the flathead screwdriver you could use, but then they eventually went to the 3.8 millimeter, what do you call it? Anyway, screwdriver. It's a 3.8 millimeter, I don't know what you call it, but if you Google it, NES cart screwdriver, it'll come up. But you get a 3.8 millimeter and a 4.5 millimeter one, I think, and I've never used the 4.5 millimeter one yet, but this is the one that you want to use. It's like $10 on Amazon. It's not a big deal. So, but anyways, so you put that in there, and then you can get these screws out of here. It's called, it's called a security screwdriver, I think is what it's called. But anyways, these 3 screws, obviously, they call 3 screw for a reason, because there's 3 of them. There's 5 screw because there's 5 screws, obviously. But and there's another way. I'm sure if you're into this stuff, you know all this stuff already. But if you have a 5 screw, you can always tell it's a 5 screw. If you're interested in getting the 5 screws, like if you're looking for them on eBay and stuff like that, and maybe they didn't have enough pictures, because for some reason sometimes people only like to put one picture on there. But if they do, you can also tell a 5 screw without seeing the back. You can tell it by the little clips. If you look right here, see this one doesn't have the clips on it, so that's the 5 screw. And then when they went to 3 screw, they started putting the little clips or whatever you want to call them on there. So that's how you can tell if you're looking on eBay or looking on some site and you're like, hey, is that a 5 screw? I can't tell from the back. I really want that Super Mario Brothers with a 5 screw, but I can't see the back because you only put one picture on there for whatever reason. That's how you can tell. So anyways, so take those 3 screws out, pop it off, boom, boom. This one actually does not look bad at all. I did notice when I looked in, there's a little, you can't see it, but there was a little tiny dead baby spider on there, so that's something else I hadn't seen yet. So these actually look really good. They're pretty gold. A lot of times you'll see green on there or brown. I was at a thrift shop the other day, actually where I got these games. He had a couple N64 games, and we're like, hey, let's check those out. He got them out for us, and I've never seen anything that bad in my life. as far as games are concerned. I was like, dude, you can't even sell these. I was like, honestly, it looked like a dog had took a leak on them, and it just like the acid from the pee just ate it all up. I know it's disgusting, but it looked disgusting, and I was like, dude, why are you even trying to sell this? Just throw these away. It was corrosion. The pins were, it was gross. Anyways, so I talk a lot, sorry. So the first thing I do, normally I actually have a cup here, which I don't have with me, but I dump some of this alcohol in there. They tell you to use, if you're looking, they tell you to use 90%, at the minimum 70% alcohol. This happens to be 70%. They tell you to use the higher alcohol because the lower it is, the more water it is in it. So definitely don't use anything less than 70%. I'm using 70 because that's what I had when I started doing this, so that's what I'm using. But as long as you let it dry and wipe it off and all that kind of stuff, you're gonna be fine. If you watch other videos, they got you using Q-tips to kind of do all this stuff, which is fine, that's totally cool. But then I saw a guy cleaning his Nintendo with a toothbrush. He'd gotten a Nintendo and it just like the cover needed to clean and stuff, and I was like, why am I using a Q-tip to clean this when I could use a toothbrush to clean it? And it'll be a lot cleaner when I'm done. I guess while I'm at it, I'll touch on base as far as Brasso is concerned. I've done a ton of I say a ton, like a ton of research. I've read quite a few articles, watched some videos as far as cleaning your brass on here with Brasso. It's pretty much 50-50. Some people say you can do it, some people say don't do it. I mean, the people that say you do it, just say as long as you get it all off. I found that the only time that you need to use it is if it is so corroded and green that your connectors, just no matter how much alcohol and brushing you do, it's not going to work. If you put Brasso on it and put it on with your Q-tip, just a little bit, put it on there, get it on there, work it in there really good, wipe it off, make sure it's all off, and then go back over it with some alcohol, on your Q-tip, or like I'm gonna put it on my toothbrush, then get it off right there. I mean, that's 99.9%. It's gonna work, even if it didn't work with the alcohol. The Brasso will get it to work. I've only had one game so far not work. I had Tiger Heli. Actually, it was one of the first games I bought a few months ago when I started buying games again. And I cannot get it to work, so I don't know. And now I'm thinking about it. I got it right here. Yeah, it is a USA game. I was making sure it was a USA, not like a European game, because I actually had one the other day I thought it was a USA game, and it was a UK game, and I couldn't get it to work, and I realized, oh, this is from France, so that's why it's not working. So anyways, you got to make sure about that. There's so much stuff you got to learn about these games. But so anyways, so the first thing I normally do is I take this out and I set it aside, and then I actually do use a Q-tip for cleaning out the inside of the cart. And like I said, I usually pour this in a cup, but I don't have a cup right now because I came unprepared. But then if the inside, like this area, doesn't look bad, which just does not look bad. I've seen them horrible, but there's, a little bit of dust, but nothing there. I just kind of wipe it down right in this area right here, because a lot of times that's where it's the dirtiest, just from over time. And I gotta say, I don't know what people do with their games. I know a minute ago I was talking about like seeing some really bad cartridges, really dirty, but I just don't understand what people do with their games. The only game I have left from when I was a kid was Zelda, because that was my favorite game, so I kept that even when I sold my other stuff. But I could go stick it in right now and it works perfectly. And all my games are like that. And then I start buying these games and like, start buying games off of eBay or thrift stores, and you're just like, what has happened? What did they do? And you'll be able to see when you're cleaning this, you'll be able to see some black coming off. Anyways, I just do that because that's where the connectors are at, and just want to make sure that that whole area is clean. Both of these sides are clean inside, so I'm not going to mess with that. So I'll set this off to the side, and then, you know what, I am going to need I didn't think about it, I could just do it like this, but normally I dip this into the cup. Having that cup is you need the cup. But anyways, I will pour a little bit on here. And then you don't want to get it like, you only need a little bit. You don't want to get soaked or anything like that. And then just kind of hold it on the sides. And this one, like I said, is really clean already, but even if it's really clean, I just do like a once over. But if it's kind of dirty and stuff like that, you'll see the stuff coming right off. You'll see where like there's a big difference. And then you can just kind of flip it over, do the same thing. Just kind of, and somebody, to be fair, somebody may have already cleaned this one. It's possible. Who knows? You never know, but I always at least just go over it one time, and then I just kind of take a paper towel and just kind of just wipe it off like that. And it'll be pretty shiny, looking good, and you'll be like, ooh, this looks awesome. You'll be really happy with yourself. And you can just, you just want to be careful. It only goes back in one way. First time I did it, I couldn't remember how it went in, but it only goes in one way. There's little plastic clips and stuff that just kind of sits down in there, so the board always goes down. Like you won't see any of that. I'm not a nerd. I don't know what they're called, the chips, whatever, go down. Whatever they're called. So so that's done. You can put it back in there, and then put it back together. And you can do this. I'm about to clean the outside of the cart now, which I don't know, maybe everybody cleans them, I don't know, but I know the ones that I bought, they have not been cleaned, and I've cleaned them up and they look, really, really good. So I'm assuming most people don't do this. They just, I don't even know if most people even open these up. They might just stick like some like 1-Up cleaner, or whatever you call those things, or a Q-tip or whatever. And because you've seen a lot of videos that do that, they just take those little cleaners made of, I think they're called 1-Up, I don't know. But anyways, you've probably seen them. And then just kind of stick them in and then just kind of go in there without even taking them apart, which I mean, if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do, that's fine. Nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather take them apart. So, but yeah, so I don't know if most people clean these carts or not, but I do. I like cleaning them because I think it's pretty awesome, especially if you're gonna resell them. It makes them look really, really good. But like this place I got them, luckily they put the stickers on the back and not on the front label, which is awesome. So these come off pretty easy. And the front's pretty good. There is somebody took an ink pen and probably put their initials on here or something. I don't know if you can actually see it. There's a W right there. It's an ink. I can probably get the ink off, but obviously there's gonna be an indentation left there. So it looks like, I don't know, it doesn't matter. It looks like WF, I don't know, whatever. But anyway, some kid a long time ago did that, I'm sure. But I'll be able to get the ink off of there. I'll just use a little bit of, I'll first try, if I have something on here, I always try the alcohol first, and if not, then I go to the Goo Gone, just because the Goo Gone comes out so fast, like so much comes out at once, so I only want to do a little bit at a time. But anyway, so then I'll just take another clean napkin, and I'm actually, honestly, to be honest, I'm trying to figure out another type of cloth to use, but until then, I'm just using a paper towel. I said napkin, but a paper towel. And then I just get some on there like that, pour some alcohol in there, and I just kind of wipe it down. And I mean, this looks so good. And you don't want it soaked because you don't want the label coming up, but if you just wipe it down like that, oh man, it looks so good. In the back and the tops and sides and all that good stuff. And I'm always like just so excited just to get it looking like this. Just wiping it down because it looks so good. And since it's alcohol, it dries really fast, so it's not going to ruin the label or anything like that. And sometimes you get on there and like it'll be kind of like right on the edge right there. You'll see a little bit, oh no, it got wet or whatever, but it dries and you won't be able to tell. I promise you. And you can practice this on a cheapo, like a common game or something like that. You want before you do like all the, before you clean an expensive one. But I promise you, man, as long as you don't soak this thing down, you just wipe it out, it's gonna look so good. And then I come back to the toothbrush. Get a little bit on there, kind of dap. You can kind of dab it off on your paper towel, or whatever. And then all these little things, the little grips, whatever, for you, so you can pull it out of the NES. I always get in there, because a lot of times those are really super dirty, because since they are kind of raised, stuff gets in there and stuck. So I always kind of just go right in there and do that, man. And flip it over and do that back part right there. And that always works really good. And then I get a dry part of the paper towel, wipe it out of there. If you see something, just kind of work at it. That didn't come off, then you can kind of work at it and get it to come off. And come back over here. This top part where you grab it like that, that's always the worst. I'm sure you've seen it like that before. So, anyways, this looks really good. All right, well, I'm sure I've been talking too much, so that little ink pen part on there, I'm gonna try to get that off real quick. But I'm not gonna do that on camera because I've already been talking a lot. But anyways, man, so that's how I do it. If you got any suggestions for me or whatever, you just let me know. And